All right, so today we're going to be looking at PyQT and signals and how we can kind of interface with two different windows using PyQT. So for starters, to show we can run this and we have two different windows open up. Um, so kind of the challenge of this is we want these to talk to each other. So for example, I'm able to type here and select C11. Enter that, we see it populates here as we hit enter. And we can go type C11 in the discard box, and there we go. It's no longer in block occupancies in this other UI. So we're going to be kind of going over how we get these two to interface with each other using PyQT signals and slots. Exit like this real quick. We can kind of trace through the code. So if we look at our main UI, we see, as an example, this change mode send as a PyQT signal that's a Boolean. So looking up top, we're importing PyQT signal from PyQT5. And we want to define this signal before we define any other functions in this main window class. So as we define the signal, we also need to specify what we're going to be sending. So we're sending a Boolean value. So let's trace through this a little bit. So as we can see, when we're using PyQT signals, we want to use this dot emit. That's going to be what we're sending over to the other window or other UI. So initially we have it sending a true. We can trace it a little bit further down. And we have, depending on this mode, depending on this function, whatever this text is, we're going to be sending different results. So we can see that as we're setting this text to automatic, that corresponds with this false value that we are emitting as a signal. If we are in manual mode, we are emitting a true value coming from there. So we can see that. And in our main we have here is we're connecting these windows. We're going to have window, which is our main UI, that change mode send, which is that signal, connect, which is connecting like what function is this going to be connected to in the other UI. And we see this is going to receive mode. So that's going to be the slot that's connected to the signal where we're actually sending that Boolean value to be received. So let's see where that goes. As we see here, we have this function receive mode taking itself, but also this mode. This mode is the Boolean value we are sending in our change mode send. So this bool right here that we are sending, let's go back to that super quick. So this true, for example, that is the mode value that we are receiving in receive mode. So again, we're connecting that. So we're connecting the signal to the slot to be received in our other UI. And we can see if that signal we receive is true, we're setting the text in our other UI to manual. If it's false, we're sending it to automatic. So right now I'm going to kind of put some breakpoints in here to kind of trace through from start to bottom what this should look like. So the bottom. Let's see. We go here. See this signal sent. And we're also going to look at when it's emitted here. Okay. And we're going to see the slot it's actually received on here as well. So let's go run this as a debugger mode. So we can actually trace through this. Okay, it's just initializing it. That's emitting the initial condition, which is manual. So it goes with true. Okay. So now we are looking at our two UIs. So the signal we're looking at is sending the mode coming from this main window over to this other smaller window here. So in order to initialize that option, let's put in a value here first. So let's give it a shot and send over the mode and see what happens. As we can see, initially with manual, that comes from the very beginning when we emitted it as true at the start. So let's hit change. Boom, let's kind of trace where we're going. So is something we don't have to worry about that. And also let's get rid of this super fast. Those are earlier breakpoints. Do not worry about that. Awesome. So here we have actually emitting. So we click that button, change the mode from manual to automatic, and automatic mode corresponds with the Boolean value false, and that is what we are sending over. Okay, so let's see what happens next. Okay, and now this is our other UI window where that mode, the value is false right now, as we can see, because we're in automatic. So we're going to check. This is going to be the slide. We're going to actually see what's received and what we can do with that information in the other window. So we're checking if it's true. It is not true. It's false. Awesome. Now let's go back over to our windows, and we can see that we're in automatic mode now because we sent that over. It was successfully received. And we can even go through one more time and change it back to manual to show you guys that that works just as well. So let's change it again. Okay, we see we're emitting true this time because we're going to manual mode, and we're receiving true as it is being sent by the other signal. Now let's go and make sure it worked. Let's see, as we can see, manual and manual here was sent over here. So we can see that it was successful. So let's kind of break it down into bigger segments as review real quick, making sure we're including PyQT signal, that whatever class or whatever UI we're sending from, we want to define that signal as a PyQT signal, and the actual type that we're sending. Like we actually have to parse that type because we're sending a Boolean. It's right here. Let's trace it down as well. Again, seeing when we want to send that over, we're emitting it in this one UI, emitting a couple more times based on the conditions we're setting, and that we are also in our next UI having a slot that's able to receive it. So again, this change mode send, where is it connected? The second window, it's connected to receive mode. That's the slot that's able to take in that true or false value and set the text in the other window accordingly based on that value. So that's a kind of a quick breakdown, an example of PyQT signals. Setting it here, sending, and the slots.